Okay, where were we? Hello, fellas. How's it going? I have not eaten this whole time. I am very hungry. I'm gonna eat a falafel. Mm. Falafels are nice. Food is nice. Food is quite nice, actually. Okay. Let me move this away so you don't actually have to hear me chew the whole time. Okay. So let me shrink you. Put you over here, just so I can see it better. I'm just still adjusting. Okay. So preheat oven to over 9,000. Why would I need to preheat my oven this much? That sounds a bit excessive, don't you think? Hello, 3D model. Hello, everyone. Okay. So I talked to a few people. I even went on the official Rent a Girlfriend Discord. I talked to Japanese fans. I talked to like a lot of people while I was away. And it seems like some people agree with me and some people don't agree with me. So it sounds like Japanese fans, for the most part, kind of agree with my take for the most part that there's a but. There's a but coming. Something is a little weird. And there's some stuff that's not very clear. Like I talked to Mute, who thinks there's definitely going to be some sort of but next chapter. I talked to like two other Japanese fans who thought the same thing. They're like, yeah, it feels like there's some sort of but coming up. And when I talked to people on Discord, they kept telling me like I'm overthinking it. I don't know, like maybe I'm going too far. So I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I didn't quite see how I was overthinking it. I did feel like I was a little off about something, but I think like the chapter itself is kind of vague too, so it's not really like something I can like control. Is this the same live? It's just a continuation. It's a continuation from last time, because I didn't get to finish last time. Like we had to cut the stream short. I had shit to do. So in a sense, it's the same live. In a sense, um, but yeah, I did catch a few things while I was away. So let's get to some of those. Um, I guess this is a good one to start with. So interesting note in the Japanese here, right here with Kazuya's Japanese text, and he says, "Now I wonder if I had already fallen in love with her back then." Um, you just got back from work. Well, welcome back. Hope you had a not too difficult day. In the Japanese here, when Kazuya talks, he actually uses the same exact maybe from the teaser. So let me pull it up for you. Because this kind of surprised me. It's one of those things that gets lost in the localization. So some of the dialogue will get lost in the localization and stuff like this. But here's the teaser from last chapter, right here. This reads as maybe, right? We can see the same exact maybe this written here, in the first bubble in Chizuru's text. Right here. She says it right here. This is the same exact maybe that she says. But in the localization, they make it I might be. Interestingly, my friend pointed out that Kazuya says it right here. This is literally it. So in this chapter, if you go through it, Kazuya is almost never in shadows. This is the only time, and it feels like Reishi's trying to create motion more than focus on the shadows, right? This could be a good thing. Does this mean it's okay, right? So the one time Kazuya is shown in shadows here and that one other time, does that mean it's okay? It's like Kazuya questioning things. Most of the chapter is Chizuru in shadows. Okay. So the one time Kazuya is in shadow here, he says something almost identical to her. Just as Chizuru, when she gives her thing here, when she gives her, I think I might be in love with you, says it in shadows. That's really interesting. That kind of caught my eye. That's a little interesting. Why does this particular shot also have Kazuya saying something identical? Second, While I was going through it, I talked to a friend of mine. I talked to the same friend, and we double checked some stuff. Here, Chizuru is specifically referring to the cheer up date. She says, "Since that one time, I haven't cried." Right? It shows you the cheer up date right here. Right? Kazuya has only ever seen her cry there. In the Paradise arc, she almost cries. You see her tearing up. She almost cries, and she doesn't. So this is interesting because if we pull up I believe chapter 250, you'll see something interesting. It's Chizuru crying when she's home alone. Right? It's a single tear, mind you. It's a single tear, but she cried. So to me, when I read this, and I saw Chizuru smile in shadows with her eyes closed and making a smile like this, I wondered to myself, is Chizuru lying here? Like, I think there's a truth to it, but I wondered if Chizuru was lying here, especially considering the structure of the sequence is kind of the same. So it feels like Chizuru's keeping some sort of secret here. There's another line that caught my attention that I was really curious about, and it was this one. She says, as a rental girlfriend, I had always thought that it was wrong to fall in love with a client. Okay, this is like deep, close to her heart. It's obviously against the terms. Most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. What was interesting about this line is I talked to two people who both said, like, it seems to link up to Chizuru's job, but it's also kind of vague. And that made me think a little bit. Okay, she thinks she's not allowed to be someone's girlfriend. On one hand, you can interpret it in terms of Chizuru's job, right? Like, yeah, it just feels kind of wrong, you know? But you're not allowed to be that with someone? That's a little strange, right? Like the fact that she's not allowed to have that kind of relationship. Does she think she's that bad of a person? Does she think she's that unlovable? And I tried to talk to some Japanese fans, like, I tried to talk to I gotta pull him up. I put him somewhere around here. Where are you, friendo? Here, let me find him. Yeah, so the verb she used means to permit, to allow, to approve, to consent. That's the verb she uses in this scene. And he says, like that's what my friend says. So I told him, yeah, that's interesting. The more I read the chapter, the more confident I am that there's more to at play here than meets the eye, and it feels like something is up with Chizuru. That there are things we're not seeing. I also saw someone comment, um, below the last stream, and they said something about that too. So I can read that in just a sec. Let's see. Pharaoh says, the impression I got was she's referring to the 3-month ghosting and that sad times before they moved in together. She didn't cry the entire time they lived together. Yes, but she specifically refers to the cheer up day. That is important, right? Ugh, damn it. Come on, camera. Do not do this to me, friendo. Work with me, please. Okay. There was someone left a. Let's see here. I'm gonna read your guys' comment really quick. Was 250 when her and Kazuya watched Sayuri's movie and he left for a moment? No. 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 You've got your chapters mad mixed up. Unless you're talking about maybe 350, which sounds a little more plausible. I think it's 349. Let me see. It might be. It's 349. Yeah, it's 349. That's when they watch the movie. 250 is when Chizuru and Kazuya separate, and Chizuru is at home alone, and she's watching TV, and she feels so like it's literally her words. It's verbatim her words. Like, what does Chizuru say here? Look at this. Okay, what does Chizuru say here? The past month too, the house would have been too big for one person. It was kind of fun having you and Mini-chan there. What did we just see? A house too big for one person. Okay. And then she says, since that one time, I haven't cried, right? My friend literally confirmed, like the person who speaks Japanese a little bit, confirmed she's specifically referring to the cheer up day. They even show it right here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty strict. Uh, yeah, she is pretty strict with work rules and stuff, but something feels off. It feels like there's more to why she can't be with someone. She's not allowed to be with someone. It feels like there's like a little bit hidden underneath it, rather than just like I genuinely think maybe Chizuru doesn't think she's allowed to be with someone. And that might be a part of it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but something feels a little off, you know? Yeah, this is better due to after shift. I think it's more disconnect with the clients. Like I can't be living the life they dream. I have to relate to be able to help. No, like okay. So here's another part of it. Here's another part of it. Another part of it is that Chizuru can't be with them, technically speaking, because if she's with them, she has to quit the job. Correct? Well, yeah, but she needs the job, right? One of Chizuru's struggles here. She clearly needs this job. The acting gig has not really taken off yet. Like she's not at that point where she can comfortably quit the job and do something else. So she has this moral code that's telling her if you get a boyfriend, you have to quit your job. But she can't really just quit the job. She needs the job, right? Like you got to pay the fucking bills, dude. And it's easy to say, oh, she can get another job, but no, not with this flexibility, not with this kind of control, not with this kind of money, not easily. No, right? So Chizuru is at odds with her moral code. That's another part of it. Another part of it is that there might be more to the rental service, as it is reflective of maybe Chizuru's, she maybe feels guilty about a lot. And let's not forget, Chizuru has been through a lot of stigma, right? She is like as someone who works like for her, someone who works that job, she's probably seen and experienced a lot of stigma, and this is why she understands what people who are in the adult industry feel like, right? This is why she relates to them, because she goes through the same exact stigma. She feels the same exact thing they do. So, in part, one thing that tends to happen for some of those people is they feel like they are not allowed to be in love because they are constantly told they're like, unclean, not good enough. Whether that's what Chizuru is implying here is a whole other matter, right? But there is like precedence for why she would feel this way. Reiji has created proper precedence for why she might feel this way. But so far, this line is quite vague. Now, the big thing, and someone wrote this comment earlier. I really liked it, so I wanted to kind of read it. Let me pull it up on the channel. Okay, let me grab you. So I think it was this one. I remember liking it. I think the one thing that is off in this chapter. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't play music. No. Bad. Okay. I think the one thing that is off in this chapter is that the bad stuff hasn't come out. The fact that Kazuya is insecure and she might not know about that, and vice versa, according to the chapter. I think this is the problem. They didn't talk about their insecurities. She's afraid of being left alone and not being accepted for who she truly is, and somewhat all the recent panels where she is in shadows, like in page 307, like in last page of 300. Well, she was in shadows the entire chapter, pretty much. So give me the vibe of please don't leave me, or I want to accept me for who I truly am, kind of. Okay, so I didn't read the whole thing. That's kind of my fault, I guess. I don't agree with completely this, but there is that element there. I think Chizuru is essentially confronting and having to deal with the fear of not being accepted. I'll read the thing that like I highlighted that kind of points this out. So I think they need to resolve that before any big thing or relationship happens, or they'll end up naked and then talk about that because naked they feel vulnerable. Like Chizuru also said this too, that like because she's physically naked, she felt like she could talk about certain things, and she thought I was fucking stupid. I really see an upcoming chapter where Kazuya sees "You're my girlfriend" that would echo what Chizuru said many times. I don't know about all that. Okay. theory to her emotions. Given how she has put a facade in all of the days she's had in the renting dating business, she needs to stay serious compared to the first episode. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, one thing that I don't know what I particularly said in my initial thing, but Chizuru being serious and determined here is kind of the point. But I think it's also in some ways a facade. I think she is kind of somewhat putting on a facade here, because she needs to stay in control. This is Chizuru determined, right? This is Chizuru determined to get to convey herself as properly as possible and to not let the emotions show. And I think that is actually she needs to actually find a balance between the two rather than let one take over. And I think that might be some sort of mistake that's kind of happening here. I could be wrong, but like considering Kazuya is an emotional mess and Chizuru is like, very determined and under control, or at least appears under control, I think that's kind of important. Last comment. Confession already. JK starting the anime only since May 2024. Wasn't there most of the years, but every moment in the journey of the series was amazing. Roller coaster moments mixed in with comfy kino. Good shit, Reiji. Eager to see how this develops next. Yeah, and I will say, the internet has reacted exactly like I said they would online. Like I literally said, most people are probably just going to be popping off. They're like, oh my God, it's happening. Or they're going to downplay it because she said I might be in love. So the internet is just kind of, building themselves up to fall again. And it does worry me on how Reiji's going to handle the next one. Most fans of this series seem to be somewhat tempered, unless we're talking like Western fans, in which case Western fans are just popping the fuck off, right? But like, I think for the most part, it's a mixed bag. It seems to be a mixed bag. Let's see what some people said here. You know what? I'm actually kind of surprised she said the words directly. Progress. Anyways. Yeah. So there's some stuff in the background, I think. I think she made the logical realization she's in love, but she's not there emotionally. Could be. I think so too. I think there's a possibility that Chizuru is not, like, there is dissonance happening in Chizuru's character. I think logically she knows she's in love, but something is off and she has to address that still. But the fact that like the next chapter is the teaser for it is love, and it's specifically that, like, wait, I gotta know something. What is that specific form of love used for? That's actually an important one I've been meaning to. I should ask Crumpy. That might give us some insight. On what that is. This is what I don't like about K manga, the sidebars. The text around the chapters and the next times are gone. Yeah, I agree. I really don't like that. I wish K manga kept that shit, but nope, guess not. What's the cliffhanger? The teaser for next time is love. That's it. It's just love. And it's the same love that's used in this. The My Girlfriend in Love 28. Yeah, My Girlfriend in Love, that's the same word that's used in that. This is what I don't like. Yeah, okay. Many might entails the modicum of doubt. It's quite dark to realize that many real-life girls who live in a similar situation to Chizuru, alone without family, and end up working in the adult market. Yeah, it is quite unfortunate. And luckily for Chizuru, she's working through a job that like doesn't need her to really like go that far, and yet she maintains a level of safety with herself. Chizuru is like mature. Like that's actually one of the reasons I think that Chizuru does not tell Sayuri about her work, because she's like, maybe Sayuri will disapprove. Maybe she'll be sad considering what Chizuru's job is. Sayuri technically, like, if unless we're talking about like from up in heaven, she never actually finds out what Chizuru's job is. So Chizuru never tells her. Like, even when she dies, Chizuru never tells her what her job is. And it's because she doesn't like want her to know that. And I think that's kind of important. So that's something I've anyways, the thing I think I'm starting to see here is there's a lot of things that they're not saying to each other that like need to be said. And it's like the negative parts of themselves, right? And I think they've even put that stuff to the side when that stuff needs to be kind of seen and addressed in some way. Anyways, I find it strange why Mizuha distances herself from Kazuya just to say this, but she can't say it up close and personal to Kazuya. And that's another thing. The literal physical distance between them is kind of important, right? She's not physically touching him, and there's a reason for that. Like, nobody's picking up on these little details. She's literally staying physically further away from him because they're not at that point yet, right? Like, it starts... How does it begin? How does it begin? Right? Let's go back to the previous chapter. Chapter 377. How does it start? It starts with her grabbing his hand, and she's desperate while he's just surprised that this is happening. Let's go to the next one. Afterwards, Chizuru stands about here, right? There's a bit of a distance between them, and Chizuru starts talking, right? And she starts getting emotional, and she starts kind of messing up a little bit. So you're seeing Chizuru slowly gain a little bit more control over herself as she's looking away, right? And then you have Kazuya start to like break down, melt, and, you know, freak out, become a little cartoony, right? It reflects like how much she's actually freaking out. Then what happens? When you get to this chapter, you have them standing pretty close, and then she has to turn around, take a deep breath, and get a little bit of distance from him, right? She needed just that little bit of distance so she can talk clearly. She literally needed physical space so she could communicate with him clearly, right? And yet she feels closer than ever. So that's kind of the point of the scene, I think, is that she feels literally closer than ever, but kind of further away too. The other thing that I realized while going through this is that the first chapter that we start with this arc, let me pull it up. We start this arc in chapter 352. Let me find it. 352. It starts with rain. Then they meet like this. Chizuru is standing with the rain above her. Now, the water that started this arc is literally behind Chizuru, and it is massive, right? Like, there's this entire thing behind Chizuru that was like raining above them earlier, technically speaking. Like, it's literally just the water behind her, and Kazuya is looking at her. Now, great that the water isn't on top of them, but it's right there. It is close, and it can be dangerous. So it feels like that's kind of coming full circle. It's like the rain is gone, but the water is back. And basically the ocean, especially in literature, has always been both a good thing, often representing like freedom and stuff, but it's also vast and dangerous because it's so big. It's so large, it can be dangerous. So it's almost like Chizuru kind of needs to contain that, if you will. Like, because literally we have this, like we have the edge, right? And Chizuru's standing near the edge. And man, there's something more to this chapter, and I'm having a little bit of trouble analyzing this time. Like, usually I'm a little more comfortable analyzing. Oh my god, I hit the T. Not good. But this time I'm having a little bit of trouble piecing everything together. I will say it does feel like these two images are supposed to mirror each other. They're like literal reversals of each other. So it does feel like these two things are supposed to mirror. Okay. There was also something on Twitter that I wrote that I guess I wanted to read. So let me go find it. I settle this. Yeah, Kazuya talks about want. The ring, I guess that's another thing we do have to discuss. The ring is interesting because it's like it's a symbol of her commitment, right? We've already said that before. It's a symbol of her commitment, but it's more not necessarily a symbol of her commitment, but just a symbol of commitment. And she can't even literally look at the ring. She can't actually open it. She can't actually see it. It's like she's unworthy of that commitment. So that's another part of this. We talked about the parallels with the bridges. There was something else that I wanted to that I shared. Let's go to my profile. I think that'd be quicker. Oh, come on. Now Twitter chooses to not work? Seriously? Yeah, we talked about the one where she seemingly we talked about the maybe. Yep. Talked about this. Yeah, the same brain is in both. It's a little hard to like piece what's going on with this chapter. There's a little bit of like subtlety going on that I'm having a little bit of trouble piecing together. Ay ay ay. Maybe I'm just tired. I did sleep kind of weird. Let's read the comments a little bit. We're going to have a reply from Kazuya as Kazuya. I'm happy that I have my feelings get through. I'll wait. I think Chizuru. Well, okay. Let's remember. Chizuru isn't done. The teaser for next time is literally like, okay. The editor notes here said the next time, the conclusion, the answer. You have to realize Chizuru didn't give an answer here. She just said, I think I might be in love with you. She didn't give him an answer on whether they would date or not. That seems like like you being in love with someone and you dating might be two different things. And people don't seem to quite realize that those can in fact be two separate things. You can be in love with someone and not think you're a great pair. Right? There could be many things going on. So Chizuru actually did not give her answer here. It just seems like the answer is what we wanted to be. But there's clearly more, right? So like, okay, Kazuya has not opened up to Chizuru about his sexual desires in any way, shape, or form because he thinks that part of him is bad and is unloved and isn't a good thing. So he puts it to the side. He doesn't express it outwards. In contrast, Chizuru has not opened up about like her jealousy, her possessiveness, the fact that like she wants things but isn't allowed to have them. So she keeps telling him like all this stuff. Like Chizuru is not being honest, just as Kazuya isn't being completely honest either. There's a lot of things that are still unsaid, and that's kind of important. Like there's many things that if we reread the arc have kind of been left unsaid that Reiji has set up. There's also like the familial element, like making the choices because you want to, not because of other people telling you to or whatnot. You have like the mommy thing, I think will be resolved after the arc, right? I think the mommy thing will be resolved after the arc. I don't think it's like insanely relevant now, but yeah. There's the whole thing that like they might get a resolution if they kiss. Okay, let's see. Is Chizuru afraid that Sayuri would disown her if Grandma realizes granddaughter? I don't think Sayuri would disown her. I don't think so. No. I just think like Chizuru does not want her grandmother to know that she worked that kind of job because she wouldn't be like the granddaughter she thought maybe. Chizuru definitely has self-worth issues, and a part of it definitely stems from the rental job. It's clearly like something that does impact her quite a lot that she feels somewhat unworthy because she's working this job that like isn't the morally gray. Despite the fact that she defends it and sides with it, she does feel certain fears towards it. And I think too many people might not recognize them in these things, but she is proud of the job, you know? It's just she's kind of impacted by how people, in particular, how family talks about it. And so that chapter between Chizuru and Nagomi is so important for that reason. Like, this is why I referenced this chapter a few times. That, where is it? Like, Nagomi, here it is, chapter 309. Like, listen to what Nagomi says. It felt like I was back in my school days, Grandma. It's true that when first heard about being a rental girlfriend, I was a little shocked, but my judgments of you were unkind and premature. I completely overlooked your true nature. After I calmed down, however, I realized something. Perhaps my foolish judgment is to blame for everything. Gee, no. As much as it shames me to admit, I was blinded by those narrow-minded beliefs, and it forced you to hide everything. Even though it was brief, please forgive me for judging you based solely on your job. Like, Chizuru never got to hear that from Sayuri, and she never will, right? Like, she knows her grandma would maybe love her and accept her, but she probably, like, felt a little insecure about that. So this is a kind of resolution for Chizuru's character in some ways, to get that from Nagomi, a person who did, in fact, end up judging her for her work. To be honest, back at the hospital, Sayuri-san and I had a little chat about you two, huh? She told me that she could see a bright future for you two, one where you'd be surrounded by your children. I told her that I felt the same. Even now, I can still see it. I see you two in your wedding dress and Kazuya ready to take you as his wife. Adorable. They come home. Chizuru sees him in his, wedding outfit. And she disappears. And then what does she do? I'm the one who should be apologizing, but I was speechless. After all, I'm still lying to her. After hearing such sincere words from her, I don't even have the right to apologize. I need to hurry. Just what kind of talks were you having, Grandma? Okay, this is bad. This is usually a bad fucking sign. The fact that she feels she needs to hurry, like, this is clearly an influence on Chizuru's choices. The fact that Grandma Nagomi said this stuff is clearly an influence on Chizuru's choices, and people are fucking ignoring that. It's clearly bothering her. The ring reflects that. Chizuru feels unworthy. She's trying to live up to this love. She's trying to be good enough to love. Are you starting to see the problem? So it's like, yes, I might be in love, but I don't think I'm good enough yet. That's another thing too. Kazuya does a lot for Chizuru, and she doesn't feel like she does enough back, right? So that could be another part of it, that she's not content with just being okay with that. And she's created this like issue that she thinks she needs to resolve. There's more at play here, okay? Like, I think the more we go back, the more we're gonna see that there's actually more at play here than meets the eye. And I think if you're only here for a confession, if you're only here to get the resolution that you want, I'm sorry, this is not the manga for you. I will say this as many fucking times as I want to. We will get to that point, but you can't rush it, okay? You can't rush that resolution. You're not gonna get it as soon as you fucking want. Like, I think next chapter might be a subversion, and I could see people being fucking stupid, because they fucking will be. And that's kind of what I was predicting with the internet. A lot of the internet seems to be like, just finally, yes, we're getting there. And I'm like, shit. Like, next chapter might not be what they expect, and they're gonna be like upset and weird about it. I think it would have been a nice, in the future, Reiji showed us how Chizuru started as a rental girlfriend and how it was her first rental date. Yeah, that would be interesting. We never did actually see that. We've never actually properly seen Chizuru's start. We did see her, like, starting, like, when Kazuya interacted with her, she was fairly new. She wasn't, like, super entrenched in the job at that point. She didn't, like, know everything, but she was fairly new. I don't think it's essential to the story. Not everything needs to be told. Well, that would be interesting. It would be an interesting backstory. It would be interesting to know more about Chizuru, why she got into this field. But if it's relevant to the story, it could work, right? I'm not saying it's like necessary. I just think it would be interesting. I feel like instead of a fight, she's gonna pull away from Kazuya. No, I do think they're gonna have a fight. They're gonna have a fight, because Chizuru's gonna say some stupid shit. I can still kind of feel like Chizuru's gonna say some stupid shit. Like, it's somewhere in my bones. I can feel it. I can tell Chizuru is like, she just said, I think I might be in love with you. Cool. But this, and that. And Kazuya will be like, why should any of those things matter? right? Why should any of that matter? And that'll be like kind of the conflict, right? That like, why should that stuff matter? And they should, I don't know, dude. It's really hard to predict. We are in a very unpredictable scenario. And Reiji has done that purposefully, and it is quite clever, in my opinion, that we are in such an unpredictable scenario. Like, we can analyze this chapter as much as we want, but there are things we will not see immediately, at least right now. Like, we are in a very unpredictable territory. And I'm really kind of not sure. Like, it's very hard to predict where it'll go, but I don't think it's just going to be all sunshine and rainbows like most people are expecting. Because Chizuru's love from the very... Okay, how did this arc start? Let's clear that shit up right now. How did this arc start? How did we begin this arc? Jiminy Christmas, why did you take me so far back? What is the first thing we see when we start this arc? This is not a positive thing. You don't start a date arc by making it look like a fucking horror movie. And the fact that we're coming back to that we're coming back to the water, the thing that started this arc, we're now at the beach, the thing that like connects back to the very beginning. We've literally come full circle, if you will. We started with rain, now we are at the beach, where the rain probably all went, right? It either went into the forest, the trees, but now it's here. So, or at the beach, right? Like it did go there too. So the fact that we came full circle to water is very important. That like, okay, we started negative, now it looks positive, but it might still be fucking negative, right? There's probably something hidden underneath the water. The vastness of the ocean behind Chizuru is daunting and kind of important here, right? It's meant to be large and eclipsing, right? The way the way Reiji frames it is very brilliant because of how large it is and how the city looks in the backdrop, right? It's both ethereal and yet very large, and that largeness is meant to kind of be a little uncomfortable, right? Like you're meant to be left kind of uncomfortable by the end of this because you get the might, you don't get the for sure, right? Like Kazuya speaks in certainty, right? Kazuya speaks in certainty. I want to date her. I want you, like very clearly, whereas Chizuru speaks with a lack of certainty. So you have two contrasting elements. Someone who looks determined and yet speaks with a lack of uncertainty, and yet someone who looks messy and doesn't look certain in any way, shape, or form. Like doesn't this look like when... Oh my God. Doesn't this look like in chapter 49 when Kazuya confessed? And there's another one I'm thinking of too. Just one sec. Like we've seen Chizuru look like this before. Chapter 174 is another one maybe. I think it's chapter 174. Or is it chapter... Kanojo, Okarishimasu, chapter 173. Yeah, we've seen Chizuru look determined before. I don't know which one this is particularly making me think of, but like she's very determined and under control, and yet she doesn't speak with certainty. In contrast, you have Kazuya, who doesn't say his words out loud, but he speaks with certainty. But he looks messy on the surface level. Kazuya looks very messy, and yet he is certain. So why the fuck does Chizuru, who who speaks with a lack of certainty, look so certain? Okay. The other thing too is like I love how messy their hair is. I think Chizuru actually looks messier in some ways, and I love how behind Chizuru there's the ocean and the city, and behind Kazuya there's only the sky. Kazuya is very clear, whereas with Chizuru there's a very there's an intentional backdrop that's also being messy with her hair. There's a lot going on behind Chizuru. There's a lot hidden behind Chizuru. Right? There is the edge of the pier, there is the ocean itself, and then there is the city. There's a very big backdrop behind Chizuru, and there's layers to it, literally layers like a building, right? But Kazuya, there's nothing behind him. It's very clear, because what he feels is clear. Imposter syndrome, I think, is just a part of it. I don't think it's completely imposter syndrome. Like, I do think Chizuru thinks somewhat like she feels somewhat of an imposter-ish stuff, but I don't know if it's complete imposter syndrome. We many people have said this before, right? But I don't think it's completely true. I don't think it's completely just imposter syndrome. I think there's a little more to it. Okay. Damn, we've been at it for an hour, or 40 minutes, actually. 40 minutes, not an hour. There's this. Thank you for falling in love with me. The moon is she. Yeah, isn't it? Dude, she's like going Super Saiyan with the way her hair is flowing. She's like fucking actually transforming, going ethereal. I think that's really interesting. And I also really like how much she's trying to look at him. She has to close her eyes and carefully look at him because in earlier she couldn't. Last chapter, Chizuru couldn't keep looking at him, so she had to control herself in order to actually face him carefully. She's really trying to look Kazuya dead in the eye and be as clear as possible with him. Wow. Reiji is playing with fire. He is ready to fuck with people, and I can feel it in my bones. Interesting. I did see something interesting here. So, actually, Chizuru has to step away, take a deep breath. Then, as she takes a deep breath, she sinks into the shadows. She's very clearly illuminated here. Right? She's very clearly illuminated here. But the moment she steps away, she sinks into shadows. Okay. And then it slowly zooms in on her, and suddenly Chizuru is a little more composed. Okay, she starts by saying, thank you for falling in love with me, right? It creates that feeling of uncertainty, right? Then I'm glad, again in shadows. The one time she gets illuminated, which is now, she starts talking about something that did in fact happen, right? Do you remember when the two of us were rescued together at Shimoda? Again, light, and then shadows. So I think every time we see her in shadow, something is being hidden. She's controlling herself. She's hiding something. She doesn't want to get swayed by the wind, if you will. She doesn't want the emotion to control. So it's like she's controlling the emotion as it's happening. That's kind of what this feels like, doesn't it? It feels like the emotion is running awry. Her hair literally freaking out in the wind reflects her emotions, like literally losing it. But she herself is kind of trying to maintain control. So when Chizuru closes her eyes here, she chooses not to see so that she can look at him clearly, which is really interesting because she's stopping herself from feeling in a sense, while also trying to control the feeling. Here, she's hidden in shadow when she says this, but there's a bit of light shining through. Thank you for falling in love with me, right? So maybe she believes this to some degree, but maybe she's hiding that she doesn't feel worthy of being loved. I've asked so many times why, but I just thought I should thank you for feeling the way you do about me. Okay, this is the truth because she's very clearly illuminated. She turns in darkness and says, I'm glad. And then she's not, there's like a really interesting imagery here. Very ethereal, very intentional by Reiji. She's hidden in shadow with her eyes wide open when she says this. This is the truth. But there's something she's hiding. Okay, all of this is the truth. You supported me during hard times and sad times. You stayed by my side. I think it's interesting that we don't see her face when she says most of this. She literally turns away. We see Kazuya's eyes. We see his face, but we don't see much of what she says after this point. We don't see her after this. I'm grateful to you. It was rocky at the start, but I probably wouldn't have been able to show Grandma the movie if I'd never met you. This is true. This is just a fact. You supported me during hard times and sad times. You stayed by my side, but you don't see her. Why? Why is Chizuru hiding so much? The past month too, that house would have been too big for one person. It was kind of fun having you and Mini-chan there. Okay, she turns. She smiles. She says, since that one time I haven't cried, right? Well, sure. Yes, you have, right? And like, we know the truth. Like, she has in fact cried, but technically she hasn't, right? Technically she hasn't, but technically she has. And then we shift to Kazuya, just looking at Chizuru. Doesn't it feel like this looks like the reverse of this? This shot looks like the reverse of this shot, where Kazuya is confessing very plainly, very confidently in what he wants. Then we go back to Chizuru, again hidden in shadow, this time even more so, more than before. There's an intentional juxtaposition being struck. Kazuya is intentionally in light, and you see his face and his eyes and his reactions, whereas Chizuru constantly slowly shifts back to shadows and you stop seeing her face and intentionally focus on her mouth or her lower face. But now she's even hidden in shadows more. As a rental girlfriend, I had always thought that it was wrong to fall in love with a client, okay? It's obviously against the terms. Most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. And this is where I would want to ask why. Why aren't you allowed to? That's a strange thing to say. What happens in Hawaii has really made me think, why did I do something like that? Okay, so we should come back to this one, girl, please. There had to have been other ways to handle it. But the past month, the more I've gotten to know you, I've realized something. I think that I might be in love with you. And it's like time stops. It's literally like time stops. So interesting. And I also love how shows Chizuru, shows the scenery, shows Kazuya, shows the scenery. There's a consistent pattern. It's rhythmic. It's like she's following a script. The structure of the buildings, the structure of the chapters not only nods to the very building-like relationship in their, like the history of their relationship, and not only nods to the history of their relationship, like the chapter being structured vertically, but how does it start? How does it start? It's not mostly vertical, right? We start with the usual structure, right? It's mostly horizontal. Then it's still horizontal, takes a deep breath, suddenly starts getting vertical. Literally, after she takes a deep breath, it starts getting vertical, as if she's literally following a sequence. It's more organized, more clear, and then it starts following a structure. Yeah, even here, where it starts going back to like a slightly older pattern, specifically because Kazuya talks, it still has that structure where they literally look at each other. God, the yearning is off the fucking charts with these two idiots. Okay, again with Kazuya, then it starts slowly shifting to vertical again the moment Chizuru takes over. Yep, there it is. It's vertical again. Vertical. The moment we talk to Kazuya, it starts to suddenly shift a little back, but then it sticks to vertical, and then it ends like that. It's almost like the vertical pattern is intentionally something she's creating. Like she's literally following a pattern. Wow, that's weird. I too think that they will not fight, at least for now, but I agree that the date will not end as the majority of the people expect. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they might fight. They might not fight. Maybe the fight will happen afterwards, but it feels like Reiji's been building up a fight for a while. So maybe a fight might not happen now, but maybe there will be some sort of disagreement at the very least. But Chizuru saying she might be in love for Kazuya is huge. Yeah, it is. It's huge that she actually fucking said it out loud, right? What she's saying doesn't match her body language. Not completely. I think there's an element of determination, but kinda. And I think Chizuru's always had that dissonance between her body language and what she's saying. I don't think so. I think that her body language expresses exactly the effort she's putting to choose her words. Exactly. Thank you. That's a perfect way to put it. Her body is expressing how hard she's actually trying. Chizuru feels far too rehearsed here. Contrast this to how Kazuya initially confessed to her. Well, Chizuru has always tried to be in control and somewhat rehearsed, and she clearly started fucking up, so she had to like restructure herself. In actuality, the page with the building says that the moonlight The lights are the spotlight. I already know this. The pier is like a wooden scenario, and she sounds like reading a script. The pier is like a wooden scenario, and she sounds like she's reading a script. Oh, shit. It's their spotlight. It's their theater. Therefore, she... Okay. Damn. That actually does kind of work. Okay. Funny you say that, considering the day of the date. She had an acting to take care of prior. You mean the day before? Before the day she had a play. Before the day she had a play. In fact, most of the time they were living together, she had a play. In fact, Kazuya, when he was preparing, was rehearsing, and Chizuru was at a play. In fact, what did I say very early on about this? That it feels like it's kind of rehearsed to some degree. Not completely, but to some degree. I gotta pull up something. I need y'all to hold on. I need to pull up something. Something I made a while back. I'm gonna check also my Twitter messages. Someone sent me a message. Okay. Let me pull up what I wrote first. It might be in my bookmarks. Maybe I put it in my bookmarks. Oh my god. I did write oh my god. Nope, it is not there. Okay, let's scroll a little bit. I think I'm almost there. There we go. I think I found it. Or, damn it, it was close. It's the one after. There we go. Oh, wow. There was something similar in the covers for certain chapters. I pointed out how I like that these two covers contrast. You have this cover, and then you have this cover. Chizuru is looking up at the sky at the edge of a bridge. There's clearly some water here, and there's the city behind her. Kazuya is in the city looking up at the same sky. They're in two different locations conveying two different things, but they are in kind of different places, if you will. Okay, so let me read what I wrote here. I'm starting to understand this date arc and how the practice date with Minnie influences this. I read this before. I did like a read for this in like a video, but I'll read it for you guys now. This practice date with Minnie is about a lie disguising a truth, with Minnie acting as Chizuru in this arc. This date is about the truth hiding a lie. Okay, so I need you guys to keep up with me. Why don't you check the old chapters where she is acting so that we can see where it has vertical panel or not. The vertical panel structure isn't necessarily like a common thing, but it is like it's not always structured like that. But it's the way how he's paneling it is very important. I feel like it's not that you can just check it by going back to like older chapters. But you did remind me of chapter 239. Because it does have something similar. Let's observe. Before I continue reading the thing I was reading earlier. So we have chapter 39 where they have their talk, right? They have a talk. And I think something similar starts happening midway through, right? Are you starting to see something a little similar? In particular this, so please I'd ask you to wait just a little longer. The way Kazuya is structured in contrast to Chizuru is quite similar. In fact, this one somewhat reminds me of yeah, these two seem somewhat similar, except one is illuminated and one is hidden in shadow. But they are similar. These two are similar images. I just read it. Why isn't anyone talking about how now season 1, 2, or 3, and 4 are now relevant if they were not before? What do you mean? How can 4 fucking seasons not be relevant? What are you talking about? Is Kazuya in the place where Chizuru talks with Umi the last day of the crowdfunding? You mean here? Or are you talking about the thing I just pulled up here? Oh, you mean I know what you're referring to. I was a little confused. I know what you're referring to. No, he's not. I know what you're referring to. Tainatos. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I know what you're referring to. No, he's not. It just looks similar at first glance. No, he's not. Find the text called Actor's Paradox, and it perfectly encapsulates her character. Could be. Shit, what was I doing? We were reading through like a thing. Okay. So what I was saying is that with the date with Minnie, the practice date with Minnie was a lie disguising a truth. While with Chizuru, it's a truth hiding a lie. Okay. So, and that's something you can see in this chapter, right? Since that one time I haven't cried, right? There is a truth to that. This is true. Kazuya has not seen this. However, she has, in fact, come either cried a little bit or come pretty darn close to crying. So that's not completely true either, is it? She's hiding a lie here in a truth. Okay, let's keep going. Was there something else here? Oh, okay, here we go. As a reversal of rental dating, Chizuru is seemingly being her truest self, embracing Mizuhara and Ichinose, something that is reflected in her clothing. It's a combination of the two. We see as much in the real her. We see so much of the real her in this arc. Childish, competitive, cute, caring, and accepting, right? So we see like her competitive side right here. We see her caring side right here, her accepting side. We see this childish element of her that like is very clearly desperate for love in some ways. And we see the caring side of her here as well, right? The accepting side. Now let's get to this. But this truth, I think, is actually hiding the real Chizuru underneath. It's not a lie she's doing on purpose. She believes this to some degree, or maybe she doesn't. It's kind of hard to guess, to be honest. Therefore, it's a truth. The real Chizuru, the awkward, quiet one, shows up a few times in this chapter. This is around chapter 300 something. It's a little further into the arc. It's like chapter 350 something. I think it's 59. I think it's 59 and 360. The awkward, quiet one shows up a few times in this chapter. First, when Kazuya pulls her chair. This moment is important. Chizuru should react excited and smile and say thanks. This fits her current self, but she doesn't. Instead, it's a quiet, simple thanks. It's like the part of Kazuya, the fake being a man person, like that version, brought this out of her. It's not just, woo, joy, gray. And then she goes back to that. Kazuya's lie, being cool, that's disguising his truth, his love for Chizuru, made Chizuru's truth, her sense of self, crumble to a lie, her real awkward self that she's hiding, right? Literally mirroring how we see Kazuya, his identity that he built up for this date falling apart around Chizuru, right? As Kazuya becomes the truest part of himself, Chizuru is seemingly hiding her realest self more, I would argue. Maybe. I could be wrong. Even though we've been seeing a lot of Chizuru, something feels off. The other times we see the real Chizuru is when she asked to share a plate of pancakes again. Again, it's the blank, straightforward expression, as if this is hard. It's not easy for her. But wait, Didn't she want to share something else with him that we could inform this momentary reaction from? So what does Shisu here? We'll get 2 of this then, and we're here to just try to pancakes, right? Okay, then how about we share a plate? If we go back earlier, that's right. When she wanted to share an umbrella with him, but didn't because when it's not rental, it's not easy. She missed an opportunity then, but she couldn't miss it now. This is where the core of Chizuru is highlighted and we can understand her better. I wonder if I should have asked him if she wanted to share an umbrella. Okay, Chizuru is trying to make Kazuya fall in love with her. This has been made clear throughout many of the chapters before the date started. When she went to play baseball, when she went to the massage parlor, and when she saw him the same street as her but couldn't face him. Now, I don't know if this is 100% the same because she says she's grateful that he's in love with her and she's actually trying to understand his love for her. And yet, she does shit like this. A girl doing full swings at the batting cages probably doesn't look very cute. Okay, so she thinks she's not lovable. Maybe we can reframe that. Rather than Chizuru's trying to make him fall in love with her, she doesn't think she looks good enough around him, maybe. Maybe now we can reframe that with some of the context we've been given. Rather than she's trying to make him fall in love, maybe Chizuru is trying to be good enough to be loved. I think that makes a little more sense with the current context we've been given. But to make things so hard about it means he must really like you a lot. You think so? Maybe I'm the one being looked after, so I'm not good enough to be loved. Actually, never mind. My hair's probably a mess. She doesn't want to show her bad side in any way, shape, or form. She wants to be loved, and that is the paradox here. And the paradox that we're getting here is that we're not seeing the full Chizuru because she's kind of trying to show the best parts of herself. But isn't this counterintuitive and contradictory? For one, this is Kazuya's plan. That's the whole point of this date, for her to fall in love with him. That's the basis for Kazuya asking her out in the first place. And Chizuru realizes that later in the date. Chizuru does realize this later in the date, where when she asks him about his love, just a little prior to that, let me pull it up. Chizuru realizes this. She makes the realization that like this is Kazuya's date and he should be leading. Right? But then they find a balance between her leading and him leading. And it's literally that struggle, right? They're learning how to navigate a relationship, which is a good thing. But this was actually more of a highlight of the actual problem underneath rather than them just navigating the relationship, the things Chizuru is hiding. Yet in this date, let's pull this up. Yet in this date, it's been Kazuya falling in love with her all over again, almost like rental. Like her job, which the purpose of is to sell you love, to make you fall in love. There's a reason Reiji nods to the chapter where Chizuru asks him if he loves Mizuhara, right? Chizuru literally says this. Even in private, she hasn't changed at all, right? Remember Kazuya's response? He doesn't say he loves Ichinose. He says, isn't it unreasonable to expect someone to be 100% real all the time? We're all human. It might perhaps be impossible to not embellish who you are. And Chizuru's response is that without clarity on her feelings, she can't move forward. Aren't we kind of replaying some of these events a little bit here? And it seems somewhat intentional. If we were to have that kind of relationship, I can't even consider it until I know how I feel about you. Well, okay, she just figured it out. This chapter is the answer to chapter 239. So much of this chapter is the answer to chapter 239. Chizuru says she can't get into the relationship if she doesn't have clarity on her feelings. She got clarity on her feelings. When she asks him, are you in love with Mizuhara Ichinose? Are you in love with Chizuru Ichinose? Or are you in love with Chizuru Mizuhara? She clearly clears that up in this chapter. What does she say in this chapter? Thank you for falling in love with me, right? Like, I bet not many people caught this, but this is a very important moment. She says, thank you for falling in love with me. Okay, so that's cleared up. Her feelings seem to be cleared up. What's the issue? It's because everything she was saying in this chapter wasn't actually the fucking problem. Something I've said since the beginning of that chapter. Since we read this chapter, I have said, chapter 239, none of what she said there was actually the problem. None of the shit she said there was the actual real problem with what's going on with Chizuru. And to a lot of people who only read it surface level and saw all of these things seeming resolved will be like, what the fuck? Reishi's just pulling crap out of his ass. When no, he's always indicated there was clearly more at play here. The actual issues are grief, depression, and Chizuru being unable to move forward, literally unable to see her future. Something that we see whenever she discusses the future. She can envision it, she cannot look at it with her eyes. What did I just fucking say here? Look, her eyes are closed. When chapter 349, when they watch the film, remember when they watched the film? Lawless Bacon mentioned it earlier. When they watch the film, Chizuru starts talking about Sayuri, right? I was surprised too when I first watched this. It's like she mesmerized me, and I've been following the same path as her ever since. I get the urge to watch this whenever I feel demotivated. It's strange, but I guess you could say it gives me the burst of energy. She is both my idol and my rival, someone who I will never surpass. Turns to Kazuya, basically my goal. Looks at him with her eyes closed, smiles, and doesn't see he's her new goal, right? She doesn't see that he is the new direction. Chizuru's struggle in this chapter, in this entire arc, is that she cannot see. I don't mean like literally. I mean, she literally cannot see what she's going through. So she literally looks at Kazuya in this chapter. Most of this chapter is her looking directly at him, in contrast to the end of last chapter, which it's her looking away. Okay, so we start 377 with her looking directly at him, desperate. Kazuya is surprised that she's looking at him. Then when she starts opening up about what she's talking about, she starts looking away. And then we get to here, and she's looking directly at him, but the question is she fully seeing him? Or is she fully seeing herself? Is she aware of what she's doing completely? I'm not saying Chizuru is like crazy or weird, okay? Like don't like overthink this a little bit. I'm saying there's something Chizuru is not seeing, and I think it's like her present and maybe her future. And she feels like she doesn't belong there, so she cannot look at it directly. Chizuru, without realizing it, is doing exactly what she used to do as a rental, except how she's trying to get Kazuya to love Chizuru, but her whole except now she's trying to get Kazuya to love Chizuru, but her whole point from the start that she believed was that she needs to know how she feels about him. And here we are, with her seemingly knowing, and yet there's clearly a but in the air. There's clearly like a but waiting to happen. She resolved every single thing she told him is the problem, and yet there's still a problem. This is how her actions are counterintuitive, or contradictory, if you will. She's taking the lead, she's in charge, but it's Kazuya's date, his plan. Without realizing it, Chizuru has robbed Kazuya of some of his agency, and he's not even against it or anything. This is how the framing deceives you with truth. Reiji even foreshadowed this in a few different ways. For instance, when Kazuya and Minnie first go to the Chinese hot pot place, Reiji changes the mascot from a real restaurant from a panda to a kitsune, a trickster fox that makes illusions. Chizuru literally trying to be the ideal girlfriend here so Kazuya can love her. And yet that doesn't make any sense because she said her thing was that she needed to be loved. And so it's literally her trying to be accepted and loved, not trying to get him to love her. And so there's literally this paradox happening. And interestingly, she reminds me a lot of Ruka. How fitting that the person she is most jealous of is the one she emulates, just as Minnie emulates Chizuru in the practice state, right? Look at these two fucking panels. Look at this. They literally parallel each other. They even swap the spots they were sitting, right? Chizuru is sitting to Kazuya's right. Ruka is sitting to Kazuya's left. And then Minnie literally mimics Chizuru in the date. Dude. This all brings me back to my theory that these two are probably going to have some sort of fight by the end of this. I could be wrong about when the fight will take place, but I do think a fight might ultimately happen. I also pointed out Another theory that I had that let's go to really quick. Let me see if I can find. Oh, there. Okay. Ooh, careful. I had a different theory that I talked about. I think it was around here, maybe. I said I kind of figured out when Chizuru started acting for the day. It was when she finally got informed on where they're going and the fact that it's going to rain. Notice how she puts her hand on her face. It's as if, without realizing, she put on a mask, one of joy. Right? So, like that. Now, I, again, could be overanalyzing, but the fact that there's like underlying tones that there's something wrong with this fucking date, this is something like I've started to somewhat believe. Just as clarification, when I say acting, I mean Chizuru wants to enjoy this date. She doesn't want the rain and the negativity of everything around her to define her, which is a good thing. But as with anything, you must strike a balance. You must acknowledge it. I think that's how Chizuru is acting. She's focusing so much on the positivity that I think it's slowly taking over her, just as the negativity is slowly consuming Kazuya in this date. But in so doing, she's not talking about what's bugging her. It's a reversal. There was one other analysis I did that I'm trying to find. Ah, there it is. I'm gonna scroll up. So I had this cover translated, and so the cover actually is a play on words. This is, I forgot which one this was. I think it's like chapter 360 or something. In this cover, there's essentially three play on words. First, we have Chizuru. Then we have her doing a crane pose, and it's a pose that can make your arms cramp up. Crane is in Chizuru's name. It's Tsuru. The way you cramp up is said as Tsuru, and there's a literal crane. The crane pose. Three cranes. Okay, so this might seem like, oh, it's just whatever, it's just a play on words. But I went crazy and I dug a little deeper into this. This is a reflection of the chapter and how there are three Chizurus. The Chizuru at the start being her natural self, the unmasked Chizuru in the shadows, and the masked Chizuru wears at the end of the chapter. This is interesting considering Reiji's reference to Evangelion. Okay, so this is the natural Chizuru, unmasked Chizuru, hidden in shadows. The masked Chizuru wears at the very end with her eyes closed. I think one Chizuru is the child, one is the parent, and one is the adult. The parent Chizuru is the Ichinose, the adult Chizuru is Mizuhara, and the child underneath is the real Chizuru. I'm rereading, I said at this point I was rereading through psychology stuff, but this is like something I kind of picked up on that Reiji seemed like he was doing, that he was clearly talking about that element of psychology with the characters, and that there's more to what's going on with the characters than meets the eye, especially considering he references Evangelion multiple times, like in many different ways. So like, Kazuya sitting in the fucking fetal position is just straight up a reference to Evangelion. It's like 304, 305. Yeah, there it is. So this, I'm useless, I'm so useless. Isn't that literally what Shiunji fucking says? It's straight up a nod to Evangelion, right? And then when Kazuya goes into Chizuru's room, whoa, careful there. I'm gonna play a video. When Kazuya goes into Chizuru's room, this is how we knew it was an Eva reference. This medication, it reads as Eva. There's a scene in Eva where there's a, what's her name, Asuka goes through her menstrual cycle, and she has to take medication. She says, "This is fucking terrible. I hate this. Why do girls have to go through this?" This is a real brand called Eve. Reiji intentionally changed it to Eva and literally structures the chapter as Chizuru as similar to Asuka, but not literally Asuka, and Kazuya is similar to Shinji, but not literally Shinji, because unlike Shinji, Kazuya will do things, whereas Shinji keeps telling himself he sucks, he's terrible, he won't do anything. And that is a psychological exploration of the characters because the very nature of Evangelion is psychological, is that it deals with that psychology of the characters. Do you think she's going to use the ticket in the next chapter, maybe to ask for a kiss, or maybe to ask him to accept the ring back? The period chapter is so cute, yeah. Oh yeah, the ticket, fucking hell. The ticket, dude. Dude, the fucking ticket. She could use the ticket for a kiss. She could use the ticket to make Kazuya stay. Maybe she won't even use the ticket. Like, worst case scenario, Kazuya does actually move out. And then they miss each other really badly. And Chizuru is just like, uses the ticket to make him come back or something. I don't know. I mean, the ticket Kazuya gave her on her birthday. Yeah, I know. I listed the worst case scenario, which I'm still not very happy about. I don't want Kazuya to move out. I think that would suck. But it would be similar to Maison Ikoku. It would be similar to Maison Ikoku, where a character did move out at some point due to a misunderstanding, and then he moved back afterwards. But I don't think it's gonna play like that. But yeah, I what I was saying here, the point I'm trying to make here is that there's a psychological exploration of Chizuru's character and Kazuya's character, and that Chizuru is essentially having this dissonance, this complication with herself that she's trying to understand. I don't think she fully understands herself as much as she wants to, because when you're going through grief, you don't actually understand yourself all that well. You don't actually know yourself all that well. You kind of feel like you've lost yourself a little bit. So what's going on here? Oh yeah, this is from that. I just know people are going into like I saw some people like commenting below Reishi's thing and saying thank you and literally posting covers of the chapter. And I'm like, bro, don't fucking do that. Don't fucking do that, dude. But yeah, yeah, that was some of my guesses as for the chapter. Anything else you guys think I should look at? Yeah, the future is bright. The future is too bright. I think the future is too bright for Chizuru, right? And someone was talking to me about what is it, chapter 324, I think, when Chizuru goes to clean the grave. Yeah, when Chizuru goes to clean the grave with Sayuri. This is a encapsulation of Chizuru's love. So let me read this comment and I'll read it. I think maybe the shadow is there for the ring and wait, because Kazuya to say yes to confirm her and pull out of the ring the light. Not much necessary for it to make it a fight there. I don't know, man. I don't think it's that simple. Like, what's there for Kazuya to say? It's Chizuru's war. It's Chizuru's turn. What the fuck is Kazuya supposed to say? I think I might be in love with you. So it's like, so do we date? What do we do? Right? There's nothing for Kazuya to do. It's for Chizuru to make a decision. So rather, the ring is maybe like a reminder of her as to what is at stake, rather than a symbol of her commitment, if you will. It's a constant reminder of what is at stake and what she needs to live up to. That Chizuru doesn't feel she's fucking good enough. Today, I left the end of the first season playing while I worked, and rewatched the scene of Chizuru confronting Mami about giving Kazuya a chance. Yes, something that Reiji directly nods to in this arc, with the way Chizuru grabs Kazuya's hand. I wonder what this chapter particularly nods to. It nods to like everything. But I wonder if there's like a particular thing it's calling back to. I'm not sure. What's it? It feels like it's calling back to something, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like, what is this specifically calling back to? I don't think we've ever had a moment anything like this. Mini Mori looking different, chapter 370. I think I thought it was the same time skip. Oh yeah, no, she intentionally looks different because she has like that wig to make her hair look short. Yeah, she intentionally looks different. Okay, so I was talking about this chapter with someone, and it was pretty much an explanation of Chizuru's love. Clear sky, headstone, Ichinose family. Chizuru went shopping. She comes here. She cleans it up, right? You see how hard she works to clean it up. The kid says, that grave is really small. Hey, be quiet. Chizuru feels a little nervous. Chizuru says, it's my daily routine. She gets the flowers, in particular, chrysanthemums. It's a bunch of different flowers, but it's mainly chrysanthemums, and there's a carnation here, the flower of mothers. Red bean mochi. Cleaned it, all nice and sparkly. We see goofy Chizuru, and she says, I'm going on a date with him. I don't think there's anyone more suitable for you than Kazuya-kun. Honestly, if you're going to go that far with it, then you could have at least told me why you thought that before you died. It's not fair. Gets no answer. See you. Leaves, there's a wind rustle, and the wind makes her turn to look back at the grave. Goofy Chizuru comes back. Don't worry, I can figure it out for myself. Leaves. Okay. This is pretty much saying the way you took care of this grave, the way you cared for it, the way you should do it daily and every day is much like love, much like that same love. The way you nurture and care for this grave is the same way you should be there for Kazuya. The way you feel for him is pretty similar to that. And you can see that in the cohabitation arc. In the cohabitation arc, Kazuya is constantly there for Chizuru, and Chizuru is constantly there for Kazuya. They're there for each other. That's pretty much it, right? The fact that the way Chizuru cares for this grave is the way she should care for him, right? That's what relationships kind of are. Not to just manage it, but to like, it's an expression of her love, right? And Chizuru doesn't see that in herself. And she walks away, and then we go with Kazuya and Minnie as they go to the Kitsune place. Literally, they go to a place of illusions as the sequence with Chizuru ends, right? Like she walked into an illusion, just as Kazuya walked into an illusion. And yet, she feels confident that she'll figure it out. So it feels like there's something more here, right? I personally don't think the ticket will factor into the date, but might factor in to his birthday. Oh, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. Chizuru just doesn't use it until Kazuya's birthday. Peak. I love it. Minnie and Mori looked different. Yeah, we saw it with this one. Chizuru had no obligation, but she defended Kazuya's feelings without having the slightest obligation. Kazuya cries because Chizuru is amazing and selfless. So amazing and selfless. Yeah, right. It's like Chizuru is not doing what she's doing in that little thing that I was just showing you out of an obligation. It's because she wants to, right? She cares for her grandmother. She cares for the Ichinose family, her connection, and that's why she does what she does. And in that way, that selflessness, that even the lies Chizuru is putting up here is reflective of her love. She doesn't realize how much she loves him and how much she cares about him, because she's doing all of this acting and all of this other stuff because she wants him to like her. That is literally her answer, and she doesn't see it. She looks clearly, and yet she is in shadows. She is blind, right? Whereas Kazuya is clearly illuminated. I'm glad Kazuya didn't answer his one while Mami was he didn't answer his phone while Mami was calling him out of the blue. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to. Mami didn't make an impact, didn't change the relationship in any meaningful fucking way. Why the hell should he answer? Who cares? He's on the day with the girl of his dreams. Why the hell should he answer Mami? That's not his fucking problem, right? And it's like, that sounds cruel, but sucks to be Mami, dude. Sucks for Mami fans, I guess. Yeah, shit. I do need to reread some of the chapters a little bit. How are we doing on time? It's 4:30. Maybe I'll stop at 5. That way it'll be like a clean 2 hours. I don't know what chapters I should be rereading. The build-up chapters to the arc inform some of it. So, like, I talked about this one. I talked about Chizuru being jealous and like hiding that jealousy in the bathroom. And this is a direct callback to Paradise, where she would literally constantly run to the bathroom to hide parts of herself or to hide how she's really feeling because she's not allowed to. There's chapter 243. I can show that one really quick, where Chizuru again tries to control her emotions. Oh, damn, it says in the good quality one, but whatever. Chizuru gives Kazuya the ticket to her play. See ya then. Yeah. Look at how she runs home. Goofy little idiot. And she has to flick herself. If you're going to give him those tickets, you don't have to make such a big deal out of it. Right? It's like she's talking to a different part of herself. Hey, don't do that. Don't get so excited, you dork. Don't make such a big deal about it, you dork. Unless she's talking to Kazuya. If you're gonna give, she's talking to herself. She's not talking about Kazuya. She's talking to herself. Like, Chizuru is almost having this like contrast between like her real self, where she's trying to create control over herself. It's so interesting. Now let's go to some of the build-up chapters. So we had a few so Chizuru comes back in chapter 345. And this chapter perfectly nods to what she was talking about here. Right? Hides in shadows. I saw you in Shibuya yesterday. She says this looking at him, but she's in shadows. This is a secret she was keeping. You left right after I saw you, so there wasn't really a reason to say anything. Were you there shopping? Secretly trying to figure out what he's doing. Figures it out, just looks at him. Right? And then she says this, don't go overboard. Don't spend too much on a girl you might not even get. Oh boy. Thanks, Chizuru. Steps out, throws it into this like recycle bin that she's not supposed to throw it in. And she does this. Cute. Hiding in shadows, but looking directly at him. Okay. Later, she comes back during that evening, and this chapter ends up being a direct reference to chapter 250, when she's at home alone crying, literally creating a contrast. So this chapter recontrasts family. It brings up the theme of lies again and how that connects to the current events of the manga. So it's like, okay, that's a prelude chapter to this arc. Then we have the Ichinose chapter, her name, Kazuya being unable to say Chizuru's name and them struggling to communicate. In particular, I love this fucking gag where Kazuya is trying to say Ichinose, and they do all of these different signals, wires, literally like machines like keeping track of stuff, people making a deal, literally pyramids as a way to communicate, planets communicating, aliens literally touching hands, and it's just Kazuya trying to say this, and look at them. It's so funny. So we established two things now: secrets, family, communication, and not being able to say what you want to say. What next? Chapter 347, another prelude chapter. He meets Ruka. Okay, so these are the two Ruka chapters. What's going on? He meets Ruka. Damn, Ruka is clingy as fuck. They go on a date. How fitting that he goes on a date with Ruka prior to going on his date with Chizuru. And he's thinking about Chizuru while he is with Ruka. Okay. Ruka does some things in here that mirror some of the things she did when they were that Chizuru does later. She sees something that Kazuya is keeping a secret, and she doesn't doubt him, right? She just trusts what he says. She kisses him on the cheek while they are in the elevator. Kazuya freaks out, and he feels a little bad afterwards. Then Ruka sees another thing, another sign that something may be wrong, and she trusts Kazuya again. It shows how Ruka, when she's not insecure and losing her shit, she's actually not so bad, right? When Ruka is not losing her shit, she's actually kind of chill, right? So she sees that. Kazuya tells a quick lie, and she just shoves it back into his fucking pants. That's so funny. That's pretty funny. She wants to hold hands, something Kazuya and Chizuru don't do. So this, oh wow, I just realized, oh wow. Good job, Reiji. That just clicked for me. Holy shit. Oh, so Ruka's original purpose in the narrative when she was first introduced is to be contrast to Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship, and how Kazuya and Chizuru have gone way beyond rental and client. They are far more than that, right? That was the point of Ruka because of how she acted with Kuri, which was very distant and not close at all. That was the point of how Ruka was introduced. The role got reversed. You're seeing Kazuya on his date with Ruka, and Ruka is like being an affectionate girlfriend. She's kissing him on his cheek. She's holding his hand. She does shit like this where she just puts her hand in his fucking pants. And Kazuya like does with her stuff with her, and she gets excited and super cute, and she's super lovey-dovey, and she wants to do stuff with him. She wants to see what he thinks and all that stuff. In contrast, this is the only thing Ruka does was kind of shitty. Is like she assumes, so she takes this thing off, and it's like no, and she doesn't understand the reasoning behind it. So it shows how Ruka also doesn't understand Kazuya as well as Chizuru. But the whole point of this, to me, feels like, oh yeah, the panty thing. Oh boy. For those wondering, the whole point of the panty thing, it's meant to be stupid. It is meant to be childish. Why? Because Ruka's in high school. And it's literally, with those kinds of romance anime, what tends to happen? Literally this crap. Reiji usually does not do this. And yet he intentionally does this with this arc, with Ruka's character. Because this is supposed to be that contrast. That like it's a more childish love. It's less mature. And yet this uncomfortability happens all the same. And then Ruka moves on. So you have a contrasting thing with the Ruka date, with the current date. And then we have chapter 349, where we have, how does it start? It starts with Kazuya giving a compliment, and Minnie giving Kazuya a compliment. I was thinking how cute you are, and Kazuya just cracks. She's like, that's so good. You're really good. Holy shit. Yep, I'm good. So Minnie is training Kazuya on what to do, on how to act. And then Kazuya sees a real fucking actress. Kazuya sees a real actress and how crazy good she is. And that is just something Chizuru is aspiring to. A literal actress. And what were we talking about this entire time? That Chizuru might be acting through a lot of this date just to not show her real self, or maybe to channel a part of her emotion. Okay, so acting got introduced now. 350, 2 days before. Kazuya can't sleep, and he keeps thinking about, still, it's not fair that Mizuhara is so cute. I have class this afternoon. I should buy a bag and anything else I need. Kazuya is spending and preparing, and he is working really, really hard. Then Chizuru comes in, again in shadows. Sorry, were you asleep? She stays in shadows, whereas we keep seeing Kazuya in light, even though his room is dark. Oh my god, look at these visuals. This shit's crazy, dude. Literally, shadows, light, constantly, just like the arc itself. So Chizuru checks in with a few different things. You can just be yourself, and in 2 days, we'll meet at the front door in the morning. You can just be yourself. That's so important to this. What is Chizuru's real self? Suddenly, Chizuru is illuminated, right? Chizuru was in shadows the whole time. Both of them look determined. But now Chizuru is illuminated. So you know you don't have anything to worry about. Okay, it looks like you're doing your best for everything. Thanks. I'll do my best, huh? I'll do my best too, okay? Looks away from him. Now Kazuya is in shadows, and she is the one illuminated. Roles got reversed. Okay, so Chizuru says she's going to do her best on this date. And then Kazuya can't sleep. The effect she has on him, but also Chizuru trying her hardest, seemingly. And finally, a day before. Just, sure. Just show me the cat dong. Kazuya goes to get a haircut. He goes to school. And as he's, tomorrow that might change. I asked her out on a date, a real date between a man and a woman, not a rental date, gets interrupted. Heed my words. You've got a nut. Literally, he's hyping up this moment, and the moment gets undercut by Curry, who just shows up out of buttfuck nowhere and just undercuts this entire moment Kazuya is building up. Then Kibe shows up, and Kazuya is affected by them and does indeed go to nut. Then Ruka calls, right? I'll be in Tojo line. How about the meeting and conversation? It's 10 o'clock. It is. Right? Then, after dealing with Ruka, he has all these expectations. He goes to trim his eyebrows. Nagomi further re-encapsulates the element of expectation. So society is literally kind of getting in the way here. I feel like that's what's happening. You have Kuri get in the way, Ruka get in the way, Nagomi get in the way, and then finally you have Minnie supporting them, but there's that expectations from Minnie as she's playing fucking mahjong. God damn it, girl. Sometimes I chuckle thinking about the day we met, or the times when Mizuhara committed to her research, or how proud I'd be to show Mizuhara's acting to grandma. About how I don't want to lie to Kibe anymore, or how I needed to hurry up and deal with Ruka-chan, how I didn't want to let Yamori-san down, or how I'd live up to Sayori-san's expectations. All of these people, he's trying to live up to their expectations. It's a reversal of Chizuru, who's trying to do the same. But most of the time, I was constantly thinking of tomorrow's date. That night, I'd sleep, wake up, and toss-turn until morning. But thanks to that, I'm pretty sure I met Mizuhara at least 5 times in my dreams. Then we get to Chizuru. I have to decide tomorrow. I have to decide. And so the day of the date arrived. Again, the final thing before the date starts is the night. Just like right now, we are at the night. So all of these chapters set up a certain level of expectations. In fact, Reiji intentionally has the final chapter before the date arc starts be about expectations. A big kiss sign, the bridge, it's literally dusk. It's literally all of the stuff that gets you excited. He is intentionally setting up expectations. But the theme of this arc is also around expectations. He's messing with us, dude. He is raising our expectations intentionally because that is part of the arc. That is part of what is being discussed. So it's also about how the characters deal with expectations. Shit. I'm not ready for next chapter. I'm a little scared. I ain't ready for next chapter. I don't know what to expect. And I'm not ready for the internet and their bullshit. Because I know the internet will have a bunch of fucking bullshit. Crap. Okay. So I hope you see how a lot of these things connected. Imagine Chizuru saying something like, so let's try the mini theory. Oh, kissing? Yeah, I do think they're gonna kiss. I definitely think they're gonna kiss. Maybe Chizuru will say something negative, and then she'll be like, "Let's, okay, because I'm so unsure, let's kiss." Or maybe Kazuya will say it, right? Well, why don't we kiss or something? I think that might be it. Chizuru probably is still uncertain, and then maybe they'll try to kiss afterwards. That could be it. I do think you could be right. Most people think the newest chapter doesn't show anything new, but people don't realize Chizuru is implying that there's a higher probability that she's indeed in love with Kazuya prior to it. It was 50-50. What are you talking about? She's literally never said this. I think I might be in love with you is a pretty fucking big thing to say. It's not just, oh, there's nothing new here. That'd be fucking stupid as shit. What do you mean I think I might be in love with you is nothing? For Chizuru? Of all characters to say this, that's huge. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's a fucking big ass deal, dude. What? Oh. Sorry, I was like tilting the chair down. Let me lift this back up. Whew. Okay. What's there that we haven't discussed yet? I would probably don't get the wrong idea. I said might. Chizuru has been reversing the don't get the wrong idea thing constantly, right? So who knows? Every time she said don't get the wrong idea, it's actually been the opposite. Whenever she says don't get the wrong idea now, it's a positive thing. Like she gets stern with him, but she's like, here, let me pull up this one. Pretty sure it's this one, 376. Maybe it's the one 375. Yeah, 375. Look at what she says here. It's important to plan for the future, right? Your career options will change depending on if you want the experience to achieve anything. And then Kazuya tells her, "Oh, I'm not sure. To be honest, I've probably got to try it first before I know anything. I guess I'm just waiting to see how it goes." I like people who properly think things through. Dies a little. Sorry, I know I should be putting more thought into this kind of stuff. It's just that I had nothing else on my mind except for preparing for today. Being busy isn't an excuse. Hardship makes the man. You need to put best effort into both romance and your work. Kazi gets depressed. Look at what she says. Don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I'm against it or anything. Not everything goes according to plan in life, but what that doesn't mean it's okay to not have one, right? So it's implying that Chizuru has a plan here, right? It's implying that Chizuru seemingly has a plan here. Does she not? She has a plan. That's why she's hidden in darkness. That's why she's looking for his plan. That's why if we're together, I'd like to know that we'll be doing in 3 or 5 years. We'd be moving for work. How much time will you have off? What kind of company will you work in? What makes you stressed? How can I support you? How often can we see each other? What kind of life will we have? I mean, I would be your girlfriend, right? Who fucking says that and then doesn't like, how is this not a fucking confession, right? It's like what the fuck, Chizuru girl? And then Kazi is like, it's a fucking roller coaster. What is going on with all these mixed signals? I feel like my head's gonna explode. Oh my god, yeah. So that's pretty much the idea. Chizuru has some sort of plan that she's keeping secret, and yet at the same time, I lost track of my thought. Fuck, I lost track of my thought. Damn it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were talking about the don't get the wrong idea. That's why we came here in the first place. The reversal of the don't get the wrong idea. So maybe the don't get the wrong idea will be reversed again. But again, Reishi calls back to this chapter here. The fact that I have to decide tomorrow, I have to decide. Okay, why show that if you have not decided? Okay. And then you have Grandma Sayuri urging her to decide to turn them down. And then now it's like, what's going on? She said she might be in love. She's got to accept, right? And then it's fucking with you, right? Kazuya will be the rewarded. The living as a couple arc is coming. Oh, that'd be peak. It does feel like this chapter is meant to be a reward for Kazuya, if you will, because it was literally his birthday. So it feels like that's intentional by Reiji, but maybe again, there's probably more. Always feels like there's more. And do you think Amori is going to be like an aunt figure, considering she doesn't want romantic love, and both Kazuya and Chizuru imply the entire date arc that they will both be busy constantly? They're not necessarily going to be busy constantly. Their schedules are just going to be a little different. It's just that they might not always be on dates, but they'll be together when they get home, which is something this arc actually constantly does. Like when they're living together in the cohabitation arc, they're constantly together, even though they're not going on dates. They're having home dates, if you will. But I think Minnie actually might want love. She's just afraid of love. And I think Kazuya is in some ways inspiring Minnie, and she can live that dream through him. She's like a reverse Kibe. She's more supportive than Kibe, but it's kind of the same as Kibe, as that she can feel inspired by Kazuya, just as Kibe is inspired by Kazuya, except Kibe put too much of the weight of what he wanted onto Kazuya, not seeing what Kazuya wanted. She's definitely be the cool aunt. She could also like the crazy uncle and say the inappropriate stuff. Oh yeah, she's definitely both. Oh, there's some more comments. About time, confession. They become an irreplaceable part of each other's lives by now. And what I hope to see Chizuru's next chapter is that things need to be settled once and for all with Ruka before we start dating. We could take a fake dating here while dating someone else. It's time. Yes. Yeah, people are excited. There's a lot of hopes. Minnie dating Kibe. Ugh. Nope. That's a terrible pairing. I think the only pairing I could see being kind of good is like Mommy and Kibe, and even then, I'm not a huge fan of it. Curry and Ruka like could work if it's built properly, but I still don't think so. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Curry and Ruka. It'd be interesting if like Minnie is bi. It'd be so interesting if Minnie is bi, or at the very least gay. If Minnie is gay, it would be so interesting. I would be so down for that if Minnie is actually gay. I say bi because she's like simped over dudes, but she mostly simps over women, and she clearly has waifus that she really likes. But like I'm curious if like Minnie would be bi or gay. I hope she's kind of both. Like maybe it's bi or gay. I don't know. It can't be both. You can't be both bi. Well, actually, yes, you can. You can be gay because you like. Yeah. So you can be both technically in being bi. Whatever. I just hope that's the case. Whatever. Do you think Chizuru's plan is something that will finally make Kazuya show his fear? I think it's about actually being comfortable expressing her fear and letting Kazuya be his true self around her. But I don't know. Like, Chizuru's plan is like, we don't even know if it's a full plan. It's just she probably has an idea of a plan, right? She has an idea of a plan, but we don't know if she has like a full plan. It's really hard to predict, you know? Like, I feel like Reiji left us in this like brutal cliffhanger, and it's really hard to guess where the fuck we're going. But we'll have to see. I also think the arc ending like next chapter would be a little too sudden. So maybe they'll be like extended conclusion. The conclusion isn't actually over, or something like that. Kibe is a good support character, but have some reservations too. Johan, what do you think the but will be in the context of the ring idea of a plan? Shut up. Okay. Well, the ring is reflective of the expectations and the things Chizuru is trying to live up to. She doesn't think she's there yet. So I think Chizuru is like trying to be good enough to have the ring, but she doesn't feel like she is. I think the ring is more so meant to be like what she thinks she needs to live up to. It's a constant reminder of what she needs to achieve, I think, in order to have the ring. So I think a lot of people, when they see the ring, they think commitment and stuff like that, right? But Chizuru doesn't feel like she's good enough to have that commitment, right? And that's reflected in some of the words she says here. I most of all, I never thought I could allow myself to be someone's girlfriend. I'm not allowed to, right? So we could refer that in the context of her job, but there could be more context that like she doesn't feel she's good enough. So I think the but is that maybe she has all these expectations she's trying to live up to, and she doesn't feel like she's there yet. But that doesn't feel like it's enough. It feels like there's more. Prior to this chapter, did they use the words love and like interchangeably? What do you mean? Like in dates? No. Like Chizuru here says Suki. So it's the traditional I like you, I love you. It's a very basic version. But what's interesting to me is what form of love is written in the teaser. Yeah, what did we say the specific word for love that we're using in the teaser was? Like, I wanted to know the context of how that word is used. And I wasn't sure of that. Kazuya's next chapter be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. Yeah, I think the important thing I really want to know is what the word is specifically used for. The specific use of the word love in the teaser. What is that used for usually? Because I reread the manga 5 times and different websites say like others say love. It's because Suki is interchangeable with love. So like is interchangeable with love. And it usually depends on the context. So like the whole Umi thing where she says, I don't like him, but I don't not like him. She says like, she doesn't say love. But she uses, I think, Suki. So it can be love, but I think in the context, it's meant to be like. When Umi asked her the first she likes Kazuya, she used Suki as well too. Yeah, I believe so. And I'm pretty sure in that scene, like contextually, it's supposed to be like, not love. Suki versus Daisuke. Daisuke is just, I love you a lot. That's just kind of it, I think. Yeah, my friend isn't replying. I think we can maybe figure out more tomorrow. Because okay. I guess I just gotta last 10 more minutes, and it'll be 5 o'clock, and then I'll go like shower, and like take a small break, and then edit some videos I gotta finish. So yeah, last 10 minutes, fellas. What other questions do we got? What anything else we got to ask about? Because at the moment, I'm not really sure. This chapter is really good, but it's also intentionally vague, and I feel like so much of its context will be given to us when we get more. I think there are some chapters like this where unless you can decipher the context, you might not understand what's being told and what Reiji is setting up. And I think this is one of those chapters. You can't fully decipher the context unless you maybe figure out what Reiji's kind of cooking underneath there, right? Because some chapters I have. How did I do this stream? Less bad, I would argue. Not as bad as before, Lawless Bacon. I mean, you didn't really say or predict anything. You didn't like talk about like translations and stuff. There was nothing for you to get wrong. Yes, it was better than last time. I was sad because I was thinking that season 4 will premiere in June, not July. It's always premiered in July, Gyro. Every single season has premiered in July. Every single season, because the series released in July. The manga released in July. And for chapter 268, did Chizuru say that she undoubtedly has feelings for Kazuya, or that Kazuya is always on her mind? The two main sources I read saying different things. He's always on her mind. She clearly felt like she clearly feels a connection to him. She just doesn't know if it's love. That's what she says. I clearly feel something for him. I just don't know if it's love. I bet your comparison is the volume translations, because they're a little different. I was wondering, since the wish ticket might bring everything to light. If Kazuya doesn't open up about everything he's been holding in, especially his fears, could Chizuru use the ticket as a way to apologize, or to get him to open? I don't know. It's hard to predict. The Kano subreddit broke earlier due to chapter's peakness. Meanwhile, our manga is still dismissive as of chapter 279. It's just another chapter of nothingness. I mean, that's what they do. The R manga community does not actually engage with the story. We've kind of already established this, dude. We had someone in here earlier, like when we were streaming earlier, who was very clearly dismissive of anything the story had to say, and clearly was not engaging with the actual story, just what he wanted the story to be. So it's not really shocking. If anything, I'm somewhat okay with this limbo state personally, because I'm not in the mood for another, what is it? Look, I'm not in the mood for another community fucking nonsense, because the anime community and these fandoms and shit are like some of the worst parts of any story, in my opinion. A fandom and an anime community and the manga community can ruin stories. They've impacted my enjoyment of a lot of fucking stories. That is a thing. It does happen. You shouldn't judge a story by the community, but the community can impact it in negative ways. And that's just true, unfortunately. Like, for a while, I vividly hated fucking anime, like romance anime. I hated anime in general for a little bit because of the anime community, because of how they treated this story. They made me really fucking hate that shit. Because they're just so cruel and like dismissive of everything. I'm not saying that person earlier was, but like he was just kind of spouting a bit of nonsense. I'm personally more excited for the manga chapter, because with season 4 it feels like I'm backtracking, and you spoke too soon, Fate, but I'm excited for, what is that? My Dress Up Darling season 2 on July 5th. How did I speak up too soon? I don't give a shit about Dress Up Darling. Like that, the part you're reading is like all right. Or the part they're adapting is like all right. I kind of like that part, but I don't care all that much. Look, I just stopped caring about Dress Up Darling, okay? Like, if you like it, you like it. That's not my issue. Like, I hope you enjoy the story, but for me, I'm not a huge fan. Johan, do you think Kazuya could have answered the love question, talking about how in the case she doesn't love him back, he would still want to be by her side regardless? And that's something he has not expressed. That's something Kazuya does need to express. But Chizuru does not know that. And I think that's kind of important to this. I think that the wish ticket is not that important. I do not care if they will not pay it off for that. I think it's going to come back in a meaningful way. It's small but important. It's supposed to be small but important. I think I was there on the earlier stream with the nuisance user. Let's just not talk about it. I don't care. I think Kazuya would have to let her go if she couldn't reciprocate his feelings. It's not for Kazuya that way. Well, that's what Chizuru wants, but Kazuya is like, no, fuck that. Johan, are you gonna react to season 4 on live? Probably. I might not react to it right away, because it comes out on Fridays and I work Fridays. Or at least I'm pretty sure I work Fridays. So I might not be able to react to it right away, but maybe after work. Like once I come home from work, I can probably react to it. Yeah. Speaking of which, there is the Shiunji family that we gotta It's I think we're in the arc where Aoka goes missing now. I guess we could watch that. I got a little time. Fuck it. Let's watch it. I need a little break from the constant conjecture and not knowing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't just whoa, 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 whoa. Don't just play shit. Bad. Shiunji. Yeah, so we're at the episode where Aoka goes missing. People who solely watch the anime would never know that the cheer update was referenced several times and plays a big role in her feelings towards Kazuya, arguably the start of her love for him. No, 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 no. It wasn't the cheer update. It was not the cheer update. That's a massive misunderstanding. Hell no. Chizuru fell in love with. So, okay, the movie arc is where Chizuru's love really solidified. It's like, oh yeah, you're definitely in love with him. But the cheer update was when she opened up to him. That's a little different. However, what people tend to misunderstand about the cheer update is they think that after the cheer update, they should get together. Except nothing had been actually resolved. Chizuru's character hadn't actually changed by that point. Chizuru was actually more lost and confused than ever. So people like wanted them to just get together, which is wrong. Chizuru was not actually in a good mental space, and she hadn't actually understood her feelings and what she was going through. The cheer update is not when they should have gotten together. A lot of people want them to, but no. The Reishi intentionally highlights how much they had actually not understood about each other. I'm worried about the time slot for season 4, especially with the other anime releasing with infamous reputation the series gets. Yeah, it's hard to guess, to be honest. It is quite late. It airs at 2:23 a.m., which is a brutal time. But it is also interesting. It could still be good. It's best to not assume. It could still be good. I imagine that Kazuya. I remember when season 2 premiered, it was also my refuge when I got hit with COVID. I thought season 1 was out with COVID. I guess COVID was still around then. I imagine that Kazuya opens up but ends up getting hurt, and that's when Chizuru realizes her mistake that Kazuya wasn't ready to hope yet. That's a weird take. Kazuya was all about hope. Kazuya is the definition of hope. Kazuya literally does not give up because he keeps hoping. The real turning point was the ferry incident. I don't know about that one. There goes my sleep schedule then. Don't whoa. Don't watch it like as it airs. If it's that bad, don't watch it as it airs. Cuz like it's only 2:23 a.m. for Japan time, not for us. Like if you live in the US, you'd probably get it at like 1 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. But like if it's in Japan, it's 2:23 a.m. Not for us. No, 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 no. Like we're okay. We get it. We get it around noontime. So don't worry about that. It's just rough for Japan. Okay. Let's see. What's it doing? There we go. There we go. And then I'm gonna turn off the desktop audio. All right. And let's watch Shiunji Family. Yep, the opening. Hey, it's the station. There we go. Yep, Hauka's missing. Oh yeah, last time Aoka disappeared. Are you living in Japan or not? I don't live in Japan. What the hell makes you think I live in Japan? I speak English, dude. I don't speak any Japanese. I can't even read the Japanese. What the hell gives you the implication I live in Japan? They would be around 3:30 a.m. in the Philippines from where I am. Still a rough time for me to wake up to that. Don't wake up as it's happening. That would be brutal, dude. Okay, Alka disappeared for 3 days. She's skipping school. Bad. She's in Yamanashi. Hmm. To this day, I fucking love how cool Arata sounds. Arata sounds so fucking cool. Like, that's such a good choice to make him sound so traditionally manly, because he is. Runaway girl. Stupid tsundere. Okay. Oh, she is in the shower. Classic shower scene. Very ragey. Damn, they are going to town with this visuals. Ah, dude. It still kills me how good this looks. What's wrong? Why the ooh sadness? Interesting. We've crossed the problem into problem territory. Nothing. I fucking love how what's her name is talking. It's so fucking cute. Why are you acting like this? You're a shitty fucking brother. Look at this. She even has a gremlin voice. She even has a gremlin voice. It's peak. Dude, the voice acting and the presentation is so good. What's the matter? Oh, they put her on GPS. She's in Mount Fuji. Interesting note. Reishi said he actually climbed Mount Fuji when he was younger. Here, let's pull it up. Reishi was talking about uh, how he climbed Mount Fuji when he was younger on Twitter. I think it was this one. I also climbed Mount Fuji when I was in first grade in elementary school. Holy crap, in first grade elementary school? Uh, by the way, my brother was lost at sea, but he was safe. And then people were just commenting the goddamn chapter. People were just straight up commenting the goddamn chapter. Like, guys, please, don't be like this. It's 2 a.m. in Germany right now. Right now? Why are you awake, dude? Go to bed. Jesus Christ. Oh, I didn't eat. Damn it. I had the wrong thing. Sorry. Here, let me pull Reiji back up so you can actually see him. Yeah. See, Fuji, I climbed Mount Fuji when I was in first grade. By the way, my brother was lost at sea, but he was safe. Yeah. Okay. Back to the video. She's on Mount Fuji. Wait. Mount Fuji is where you know what is. Thinking back, there were times when she wore a pained expression. Jesus Christ. This part was so freaky in the manga. I'm like, where the fuck did she go? What do you mean she went there? You know what would be fun to talk to? Kanokari AI boys. Bots? What? No. Sounds stupid. Jesus. Now we're jumping to conclusions. Right. Oh my god. Bonri's losing it. Why are you like this? Aoka, why are you like... I need some water. Damn, that's a brutal hill. Fuji-kan? Mount Fuji? Welcome back. Multiple nights. This is around when I kind of like stopped reading the manga. She took off her pendants. Why? Interesting. Oh, the music is so good. It's so contemplative. Okay, Arata's going after her. What's with that gear? I'm taking express bus at 7:25 p.m. People see shit like this and get horny over Arata. Like, bro, I gotta play this. Like, I'm gonna need you to just listen to this real quick. Dude, Western fans got fucking horny. Western fans saw this clip and got horny. Like, oh, that's a man. Oh. Could you? Who are we kidding? Pretty much any person who's like traditionally masculine or like, you know, just basic like that would be like, oh, he's hot. Could you write in German once? But I don't think she'll understand it. Let's see. Translate to English. Anyways, keep going. You are a good YouTuber and respect what you do. Rent a girlfriend support. See, there you go. I translated it. You're good. It's okay if you want to write in German. It's cool. I don't mind. I can just translate it. You're good. I have like a quick translate feature. But it's already so late. Oh my god, I love the contemplative, ethereal music they chose for this scene. What a good choice. Arata. Damn. Very decisive of you, sister. Ooh. Well, they're kind of blitzing through this arc. I remember it being a little longer. Oh, the bus, dude. Everything looks so good. Just look at this scenery. Look at this scenery. It looks so good. Okay. She hasn't moved from the 8th station. Stay in the mountains. Shack around there. Interesting. Yeah, what's going on with Mount Fuji? I don't remember the details for that. It is cool that like Reiji is basing this on his own family experience. So naturally, something he experienced in his own childhood with his own family is something that he actually puts into the manga too. 3D model. Remember the speech from the principal and Billy Madison, the vibes the previous comment gives me? Just kidding, don't hate me. Okay. Just worried. He's built like a truck. And he found her. Sup. Sup, clown. Found you. The outdoor shoes I got. Shut up. I'm just built different. Arata's just built different. Why'd you come anyway? I don't have any bananas for you. I'm not a fucking gorilla. Right back at you. Damn head case. Target apprehended. I got her. I got the clown. Oh. Awkward. Awkward. Ah. Oh no. Damn. Oh damn. Okay. 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 Oh wow. Wow, they committed to the fan service here. No, Yosemi. Good night. We saw Alka's bare back. That's about it. Oh, she got butt ass naked. Like they showed a lot. Um, they didn't show too. They weren't too graphic about it. It was actually a little more subtle. I will give them that. It felt very in line with Reiji himself and how he subtly depicts some of that stuff. So I'll give him credit. What? Oh, their mom and dad met in Mount Fuji. Oh, that's really interesting. Mom got hit by altitude sickness, and Papa carried her down. Don't you think it's magical that we're total strangers and they met 300 meters above sea level, and then they became our parents? Tell me, Arata, do you think soulmates are real? They're decided for you at birth, and the universe brings together as you fall in love. Oh, and become as one. This could be anyone, maybe even your own siblings. What are you even saying? Kono is totally in love with you for one. You shut your mouth. It wasn't where I was expecting her to go. Wow. Oh, she fell asleep. Interesting. Damn, they directed that scene so fucking well. That was actually peak directing, dude. And she left. She left. Sucker! I'm going home. What in the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, what are you doing? Wow. Dude, look at this visual. Shit. I need to get a charger for my phone. It's a batteries are running low. And don't fall poison things. adjusted. Much more comfortable chair. There we go. Perfect. Alrighty. Yeah, I am loving the visuals and the music direction for this. Holy crap. Shrine Okamiya. What's with that girl? She's been at the summit for about an... Dude! What the fuck is this visual? I love how they're... I love this. They are doing such a good job with the visuals. Duh, I love the fog. I love the messiness of it. Shit, dude. I saw her yesterday too. The mist's coming out. The forecast said it would be a problem. Nothing happened again. Huh? I'm okay, بس ده اتفرج في شي. Oh, geez, she's not looking around and it's misty as fuck. Oh, Alka, don't. Oh, fuck. Oh, dumbass, she's not looking around. Oh. Oh, she got lost. Oh, crap. Oh, brutal. There's no signs. And there she goes. Oh, God, that. I felt that. Ow. It's a big fucking fall. And she hurt her leg. Oh, shit. Yeah, this was just as creepy in the manga. Out of range. Ooh. Okay, her dad gave her the... Oh. The things she wears on her... These things that she wears on her head are piercings. And they're from her mom. Is she trying to replicate what her mom experienced? Is that the point? You look great. Oh, don't do that. No, 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 no. Oh my god. Huh? Huh. I remember the way he found her was a little different. I remember the way Arata found her was a little different in the manga. So, huh. That was the implication. Okay, so what's going on here? You guys were talking about something. Ruka is the queen of fan service in the anime as she is. The way I thought harem works was essentially a larger love triangle. Kinda. Sometimes in German, the translation in Rent a Girlfriend comes across a bit strange. For example, in chapter 127, where Chizuru says, I don't like him, I don't like him either, but in German, she says she is in love. Huh? Are you saying she says I don't love him, or I don't love him, but I don't not love him either? That, because that's kind of how the English translate it. That was the implication. Umi essentially confirms it when she asks about it. Ask Kazuya. Um, Not quite. When he asks Kazuya, he's testing Kazuya. He's being like, "Yo, do you know this thing? I know this thing. Haha, I pulled a fast one on you. I've heard it too." When in reality, Shizuru never said that to Kazuya. Um, okay, I gotta pull up the Shiunji family real quick because I think they changed how Arata finds her. I'm pretty sure it's different. Is it like 23? 28. Wait, what the hell? 24. 25 maybe? Okay, so 24 is when he finds her. So pretty much the same scene. Yep, she gets lost in the fog. She slips, falls, hurts her leg. Oh yeah, it's so much creepier in the manga. It's creepy in the anime, but the manga uses like trees and shit, which makes it even creepier. Oh, no, I like the trees a lot more. I get why they didn't have trees. Maybe that's like how it looks now, but I like the trees more. This is pretty much a shipwreck. Uh, right. And then then she looks to her side and Arata literally shows it's similar. It's quite similar. Um I think it's an interesting choice to have Arata find her from above rather than actually walk into the lost her. He's also more hurt. He's hurt like her. Whereas in the anime, he's not hurt. He just fucking finds her. I don't know about that. I like how the manga does it a little more. It's the same, but like the fact that he's on her level is kind of important. Yeah, I think I like a little bit of how the manga did it more. Not to say that the anime did it poorly. I think they did for the most part really good job. How does Kazuya screw Umi over at the Tiger's Den? How does Kazuya screw Umi over? Um, Umi tries to pull a fast one by saying monetization. What's going on with my monetization? It is monetized. It's it is weird. Okay. So in the Tiger's Den, um, when Kazuya is asked the I don't not like you bullshit by Umi, Kazuya doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And that's how he screws Umi over because he doesn't know what Umi's talking about. And Umi thinks, oh, Chizuru must have not confessed to him. This is my chance. He tries to use that. And in reality, like, it actually shoots him in the foot. Because, like, Kazuya doesn't know what he's talking about. He tries to go after Chizuru, and he actually pushes Chizuru further away. That's kind of Umi's whole thing. Umi tries to be with Chizuru. He tries to help Chizuru, and he actively pushes her away without realizing it. And it's very funny. It's quite funny how hard Umi tries, and all he does is push her away. That's kind of Umi's big problem, is like literally he doesn't know how to connect to Chizuru. He just constantly pushes her the hell away. Okay, yeah, that was a good episode of the Shiunji. I liked episode 7 more. I still think episode 7 is the fucking peak so far of Shiunji, but I like this episode. I think they did a decent job. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it was handled a little strangely. In particular, like the forest element, but for the most part, it's still pretty good. I still liked it. Kazuya is a genius without even trying. Yeah, he wasn't even trying to be a genius. He's just being his authentic self, and that was weird to Umi, and that's why Umi like got wrecked. Okay. Oh, there's one last thing we can read that I saved. It's under my likes. So yeah, here's some Japanese fans from here, but right, there's gonna be a but, right? And then I think Mute says the same thing. Kanokari situation could still be unpredictable. The next issue might be clearer. This is what I wanted to read. So let's open this bad boy up. I like this person, what this person has to say. So we'll read this, and we'll probably call it a day after this one, and then I'll have to set up the stream for next time. Alrighty, paste. What is this? The D1 hating in episode 7 is crazy. D1? What are you talking about? What are you referring to? Episode 1, but that's not it. Covers illustration, 2 tower mansions and 2 people. What does that mean? Whereabouts? Breather, thanks, thank you, simply, happy, do you remember, I won't forget, if we hadn't met, for supporting me, you're not crying, are you? I wanted, I've been thinking about it all along, yeah, I might like you, gee. But doesn't that mean that the 2 tower mansions look like they're about the same height as the difference between Kazuya and Chizuru, which is kind of nice. Kazuya is nervous, W. He's trying to calm down, and Chizuru is being sincere and serious so as to not give the wrong impression. I didn't say thank you for everything. This conversation also seems like a bad sign, but I'm relieved that she's denying it and talking about it properly. Asking why can sometimes be a bad response to another person, and I used to evade that question. Even though I corrected it during the day, it could be interpreted as me not trusting Kazuya, and Kazuya himself was always concerned about that. Yeah, I'm happy. Her expression is nice, of course, but the way she paused for a moment and looked at Kazuya again is still really good, smiling. The incident in Shimoda was complicated. It wasn't exactly a pleasant event for Chizuru at the time, but seeing her reminisce about it so happily now, it's clear that it's been properly transformed into a happy memory for her. The various interactions with Kazuya, the time with her grandparents, for Chizuru, memories hold a significant place that could also be considered ordinary. The words here, I won't forget about Chizuru, really hit home, right? Memories, he's right. Memories are quite important. He or she is right. Memories are quite important here, especially for Chizuru's character. And this is something that I think is very core to Chizuru and even her grief. The memories she creates. What memories does she want to make to the future? She even talks about the kind of memories she would want. That's right. The encounter was like that, but if the relationship hadn't continued, I wouldn't have heard about the dream. The idea of making a movie wouldn't have come up. And after Grandma Sayuri passed away, it must have been harder for her to recover. And we wouldn't have been able to see Chizuru enjoying herself on a day like this. There is no doubt that he was a pillar of support for Chizuru, and it's thanks to Kazuya that Chizuru is able to be like this now. A pillar of support, much like the 2 towers. One stands so the other could stand too. Interesting. They are a pair. The towers are like a pair, just as the characters are. Cool. He's a pillar of support, and most of the chapter is vertical, literally pillars. Okay. You're not crying, are you? That really hits home for Kazuya, doesn't it? He was there when Grandma Sayuri passed away, and he has been worried about Chizuru since before that. He said he was fine. She said she was fine and brushed it off, but in the end, she wasn't fine, and it was Kazuya who tried to help Chizuru and actually saved her. She was he was one of the few people who had a connection with Grandma Sayuri, whom she loved dearly, and probably the only person outside of her family who saw her cry. It's a story only Kazuya can understand and only Kazuya can tell. Kazuya has always said he wants to be there for her, and whose tears are one result of his feelings and actions. And this smile and the fact that she hasn't cried since then are the best proof that she's recovered. I mean, I still think like that she did cry a few times. You just didn't see that. So maybe not completely, but you get my, yeah. The way she subtly conveys that it's all thanks to Kazuya feels really good. Personally, I think that Kazuya's greatest achievement for Chizuru, as as he said during the Tiger's Den and Hawaiian's incident, Chizuru, who has a huge sense of professionalism, cannot fulfill her role as a girlfriend in an incomplete state, including her position. It's not just about the rules, but more about the lack of integrity. She even said she'd quit if they started dating. But if Kazuya told her to continue, she might just follow his lead, if you say so, or something like that. Through living together and more, she came to know a new side of Kazuya, and through more intimate interactions with him, the physical and emotional distance between them grew closer. While there's a possibility of maybe, she conveyed to Kazuya that she's close to being in love. The fact that she doesn't have a certainty is typical of Chizuru, who doesn't act impulsively. But since she's saying this while staring intently at him, it's not a lie, and it's enough for Kazuya to understand. Next episode preview, love. Here it comes, the love that has been hinted at throughout the subtle subtitles so far. Love is an essential element for a lover, as Chizuru once said, highlighting its importance to her. After saying she might like him, if the conversation turns to love, how close is she to being certain? How will the significance of love in Kazuya's current situation be portrayed? This episode was intense, and the next one promises to be even more so. So, the but that was denied. Taking a breath, she expresses her gratitude. She hadn't been able to tell Kazuya this before, and it becomes his salvation. As a result of living with self reflection, the answer that emerged was maybe I like him. As for how she feels about Kazuya and what she wants to do with him in the future, it's unclear how much Chizuru will reveal. But let's keep our fingers crossed and push through another week. Oh, that was really well said. I really like that. That was quite well said. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I really liked what they said here. That was pretty interesting. It was pretty insightful. I liked how they looked at it through a very different lens from traditional Western people. They clearly like tried to look at this in like actually understand what the characters are thinking and going through. That was really good. I really enjoyed reading that. I might actually take some of what they said and try to work with it a little bit. Um, I do think it felt like they are right in that it feels like Reggie's trying to convey that Shizuru has recovered in a lot of ways. She's kind of found like herself again in some ways. But I think that a part of Chizuru is still a little lost. So we'll have to see. I like the very positive attitude they had about this, the very different perspective they had about the scenario and how open and like yeah, like the just how positive they were viewing it. I love the way they were viewing this. A lot more positive than me, I would argue. They saw a lot more of what the chapter was kind of going for. Something I'll definitely look at more. Maybe in tomorrow's stream when we do the deep analysis. I might reread this later on my own time and talk about it. With that said, this was a fun stream. We went for about 2 hours, so it was a fun ride. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know the drill. You know the drill. Subscribe, all that stuff if you haven't already. And thank you guys for watching. Consider supporting me on Patreon, all that fun stuff. And I've been Fate, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember, let's mosey. Alrighty, take care.